In this video, I'm gonna show you how you can transform regular photographs into caricature using Photoshop. So let's get started. Hey, what's up guys, Dhruval here, and as you can see, this is the final output. Now for this tutorial, I'm gonna use this beautiful photograph that I found on devantart.com. And if you want to use the same photograph, the download link is in video description, so feel free to use it. Now to create this effect, we have to cut her out from the background, and for that I'm gonna go and select my quick selection tool from here, right click, and then I'm gonna make my brush a little bit bigger using my bracket keys, and then I will make a quick selection. And as you can see, there is some area that we need to remove. So for that you have this minus option here, and make your brush really smaller, and now you can remove it. And after when your selection is done, you go and click on this refine edge option, and here you can go and change it to on the black, and your brush is selected default. And then I will go and paint around her hair like this, so the selection seems much softer, so that's better. And I will do the same thing around her hands. And I think it looks better now, and after that I'm gonna go and simply hit OK. And now our final selection is ready, and after that you right click and then you select layer via copy. So now when I turn off my background layer, we have her out on a different background. After that, go and create a new blank layer from here, and make sure you have selected your paint bucket tool from here, the paint bucket, and the color here is white, and fill it. Now put your layer 2 under your layer 1 here. So she is on simple white background. Now before you do anything further, go and select your original layer 1, the cutout, then press Ctrl J. So we have a copy, double click and rename it back up, and then put this under your layer 0. This is in case if we screw up something on this one, we have a cutout ready. So this layer 1 is ready and we can start working on. So first thing I will do is I will press Ctrl T, and then I will hold my shift key and I will make her smaller, so you have more space for the effect. And then I think this small is good enough, and I'm gonna confirm it, and I'm gonna select my move tool from here, and I will move her a little bit here like that. After that, go and select your rectangular marquee tool from here, this one, and then I will make selection of her head a little bit here like that. That's perfect. Then you right click and then you select layer via cut this time. So now her head is on different layer and body is on different, so we can manage head easily. After that, press Ctrl T, hold your shift key and make the head bigger. I think this is big enough. Yeah, good, and go and confirm it. Select your move tool from here and move it at its place, something like this. So this is good enough. Now we are going to modify it. So for that, you go to filter and then you go and select the liquify option. In the liquify, at first it will look something like this. So you go and click on this advanced mode and you will have all the options. So what we need here is go and select this bloat tool, this one, and I'm gonna zoom in. You can use Control plus for zooming in. It's really easy that way. So I'm gonna zoom in close. Then I'm gonna make this brush smaller. You use your bracket keys to make it smaller. Now I'm gonna go and click on the highlight of her eye like this, and do it multiple times until you get it big enough. So I think this is looking enough good, and do the same on this eye, and a little bit more. It's caricature, so don't worry, make it a little bit bigger so it looks cool. So this is good. Now comes the mouth, and for that it's actually basically the same. You first of all click in the middle, then a little bit here. Don't go all the way here, okay? No, a little bit here, 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 and here, and here, and more. After that, you have this option, the pucker tool. This will shrink things. So this time you go and click here on her where her smile ends, and you make it smaller, and a little bit smaller here, here, and here. If you want to see my settings, you can check them out here. So I'm gonna go and do it couple more times. So that's good enough. and more. Then I'm gonna go back and make the teeth a little bit more bigger. You can same way make the nose bigger, but I don't like noses really big. After that, you have this option here, the forward wrap tool. So you click on that and make sure it is big enough, like this size. And then you go and start squishing the jawline and make it a little bit straight, like this. A little bit more. So this is looking good, and the same thing I will do with the neckline, the end here. I'm gonna try and make it as squishy and straight as possible. So this is good. After that, I'm gonna go and do the same thing here. So I'm gonna squish down her hair a little bit. You can make the brush bigger to control the bigger area like this. So I think this is looking good. Then I will also work on this jawline and make it also a bit squishier and smaller. So we have really pointed jaw, which works really good for the caricatures. So a little bit more here. Now I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, control minus. So then we can start working on this portion. So now it's looking better. You can spend more time to make it more polished and then go and simply hit OK. So now as you can see, it's already looking pretty good. After that, go and select the body here, this one, and the same way you go to filter and you go to liquify. And to edit the body, make sure you have selected your forward wrap tool and make your brush big, like bigger than the body a little bit. Yeah, this big. Then you go and start squishing it down like this, but make sure that it goes in a somewhat V shape. So the bottom is narrower than the top. But in the end, we're gonna squish in everything. So this is gonna work out pretty good. Yeah. And when it comes to neck, you go and make the brush smaller and then you go and start squishing it down like that. So you have more space and better curves. It's all about how much time you are willing to spend to make it look better. So it's all up to you, and then go and yeah, so this is looking good, and little bit here, there. So I think this is looking really good, and then I'm gonna go and hit OK. So now as you can see, the caricature is already started taking shape. Now we have to merge face and the body. So for that, select your face here, this one, and put it down a little bit here, like this. Then to match it, let's zoom out a little bit. You press Ctrl T, so the transform option will come up. Then you right click and then you select warp. Now I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, like this. And here now you can go and match it exactly the way you want. So it takes a little bit time, okay? Be patient. Once you think it is looking good enough, you go and confirm it from here. But now as you can see, the line is looking really sharp. So for that, go and select eraser, and in the eraser, make sure your hardness here, that is 0%. And then you go and make the brush a little bit smaller, the size of the eraser, and then you erase it like this. So it will have really smooth fading, and the edges will look much better. See, like that. Now if I zoom out, it's already looking really good. So her shape is looking like caricature, but we also have to work on skin tone and the background. So for that, select your layer 2, that is your background, as you can see here. So you double click on your layer 2 and then you select gradient overlay, and in the gradient overlay, go to your gradient option, and here you have black and white. But instead of this black color, I'm gonna go and change it to something like sky blue, which I like better. So this is looking good. Hit OK, and then go and change its style to radial and reverse it. So we have sky blue outside, and make the scale all the way to 150, and then change your opacity to somewhere around like 20% or like that. Yeah, so this is looking good. Hit OK. So the background is ready. Afterwards, when you think everything is looking really good as you like, go and create a new blank layer from here. and then press Ctrl, Alt, Shift and E together. So as you can see, we have JPG of document inside our document like this, a screenshot. After that, make sure you have selected your screenshot, and then you go to image, adjustment, and then you go and select shadows and highlights. Now for you, let me turn off this. So for you, it will look something like this. So you click on show more option, and in the show more option, first of all, I'm gonna make my shadows to 0%. I don't want that. And make your highlight halfway through, and your tonal way halfway through, and your radius halfway through. Now you go and start slipping around your sliders a little bit and get the exact caricature look that is really famous. So go and play around until you get the look you like. Then you go and hit OK. So everything is looking good, and now we can change the skin texture, and for that go and make a copy of this, press Ctrl J, so we have a copy. After that, you go to filter and you go and select the oil paint filter. Now if you don't have this filter, the download link is in video description, so use it. So go and select your oil paint. At first it will look something like this, so go and change your angular direction to 0 and the shine to 0. After that, also make sure your details are at 10, scale 0.1, this 10, and the stylization around 4.5 works pretty good, so 4.56 good, and then go and hit OK. So now the skin texture looks really good, but if I zoom in, the eyes has also become really soft, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna go and make sure selected my eraser tool, and I will remove this effect from my eyes, as you can see here. So now it looks much better. And also if you zoom in here, as you can see, sometimes it will happen, your neck and body will not merge very well. So this oil painting effect layer, here you go and select your smudge tool from here, right click and select smudge tool, and strength somewhere around like 30-40% is good enough, and make sure sample all layer is off. Then you go and you can now simply go and merge it as nice you like. Take your time and merge it properly, and you can make things really soft and smoother here. So now if I zoom out, it just looks a little bit better. So the effect is almost ready, but it's a little bit dull. So for that, go and create a new adjustment layer and select curves. And in the curves, you have to do nothing. Just take your midpoint and make it slightly brighter. Don't go overboard, okay? Just a little bit more. And now if I turn it on and off, see, it looks much better. So that's it, and this is the final output. So I really hope that you guys learned something from this video, and if you did, hit that like button, and you can also share this video with your friends. And if you have any kind of questions or suggestions, feel free to ask me in comment section below. Till then, goodbye, take care, and have some fun with Photoshop.